Hey everybody, hey, George, Valerie, Beth, I think that's you, BX-Ray. Welcome everybody. If you want to chat, we have the live chat. You got to be a subscriber, even just for a few seconds. You got to be a subscriber. So hit the subscribe button. That lets you chat right there on the live stream. If you're not seeing the live stream chat, make sure you're using either the YouTube app or on Chrome maybe. Just go to youtube.com. You should be able to see it. I guess TVs don't have live chat or that works so well, but it works on my phone, works on browser. And while you're at it, you might as well hit the alert button with little doodads, the bell with the doodads, and hit all notifications so you get notified when I go live again tomorrow morning for Morning Monster. When we will talk about the PPI number that came out tomorrow morning, which that's coming out. We got the CPI number out this morning. We got the PPI number coming out tomorrow morning. Stuff's moving. And let's go ahead and jump into what we got here. So remember, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation here, intended to be informational, educational, and fun, is not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument or anything else. If you desire personal financial advice, consult a financial advisor who has a fiduciary duty to give you advice based on your financial situation, at least in the U.S. I know other people all around the world tune in. Thank you for doing that. We did have a loss in my family. That's why we had to postpone this one day. My dear bride, Kimberly, her dad passed away after a year-long fight with brain cancer. And so we're dealing with that. And funeral's probably not going to be for a couple weeks due to the military. There's apparently a nice long queue. So things are settling down today compared to yesterday. All right, so let's get started. And let's see, I already got the slides going, so let's talk about the CPI today. Came in basically as expected. Expected a 0.4, got a 0.4. Month over month, met the expectation. It's hey, that was good, right? But then year over year, we came in a little under the expectation for CPI, but the core CPI came in a little hot. So mixed story of mixed blessing here, I guess. You know, we were expecting a 0.3, got a 0.4 month over month on the core. And I mean, your action was a bit of an up, a bit of a down, a bit of a, all over the place. Then we had crude oil inventories coming in today. And if I refresh the calendar, we probably see what that was. Coming at 3 million. So crude oil build, and we were expecting a draw. So crude pulled back. I mean, if you believe that the inventories are realistic and actually cause the price to move, that would be the reason. Then we got some other numbers today, and like I said, tomorrow coming in with PPI right here. We're expecting a 0.2% and a 0.3%. We'll see what happens on those. I'll talk about it tomorrow morning. This can cause some volatile stuff. And we also have unemployment claims. I'm expecting a 245. That almost never hits the expectation. We always get something. We've been revising these numbers. Also, unemployment claims, that's a tough one to actually, if you read into what they do, it's a lot of guesstimation. Not a very reliable number, yet it moves the market like crazy. Then we have Fed member Waller speaking, natural gas storage, and a 30-year bond auction at 1 p.m. So there's some market moving stuff happening tomorrow. Be prepared, as the scouts say. And I'm not so sure that's correct. At 3 a.m. we got Fed member Bauman speaking on Friday. That doesn't sound correct. But maybe it is. Maybe Bauman's in some other country. We've got import prices. We got consumer sentiment. University of Michigan consumer sentiment coming out on Friday at 10 a.m. And preliminary inflation expectations. And then FOMC member Jefferson speaking after the market close. So that is all coming up on Friday. That can be that consumer sentiment can be a market mover coming out while the market's open at 10 a.m. So the rest of the week is not a sleeper. This is not a given. what we're going to see is going to be volatility. The next week coming up, we have Empire State on Monday, and then on Tuesday we have core retail sales, more retail sales. I mean, we've got some numbers coming out for the next little bit here. We got unemployment claims again, Philly Fed, existing homes on Thursday, and so it's gonna be a fun couple of weeks here. What do I expect? Well, let's go ahead and pull that up. Slacker me did not pull up the charts before I started talking. Let's do that really quickly. Open a browser, pull it up, grab the other chart, open a browser, pull it up, and pull them over. So this is Nasdaq NQ. This is Nasdaq futures, like QQQ. If you're familiar, you might be looking at the numbers. You go, but JT, those are not QQQ numbers. Well, you have to divide these numbers by 41 because this is the Nasdaq index, NDX. This is the future for it, and NQ is the ticker. Now, if you've been here before, when we look it up on TradingView here in just a minute, that's NQ1 exclamation point. So that's how you type it in TradingView. All right, let me get it where I can see the chat. Hey, David, sorry you're late. You can fast forward, you can rewind and fast forward and catch up to us. So right now we have a nested 1-2-1-2 Elliott wave type setup with a push higher into the close. This is very, very bullish. We're probably going to see that 13,700 area that I keep talking about for weeks and weeks and months now. We're probably going to go test that August high around 13,700. It just looks almost given at this point. Almost. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but it's almost a given. So, as long as we held right there, went a little deeper than I hoped for. I was hoping to hold a 618. We actually held a 7, just above a 786 retrace on this little pullback today. Popped up. That's super bullish. It looks like we're going to rally right up here. PPI reaction probably going to be bullish, although we could get a little pullback before we go bullish. So just keep it in mind. Could nest another 1-2 in here. Could be a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, and we could push on up. This count doesn't have to be correct. It's just my vision of what I think is about to happen. All right. Looking at S&P 500, the pattern is less clear. The reason I bring up Nasdaq first is because the pattern is fairly crystal clear and is sticking to the proportions very, very tightly, which usually means I can predict the move pretty darn close. So we'll see what happens in the coming days, but NQ holding in there. That's why I've been beating the drum on. It's funny. I've been playing SQQQ, which is short QQQ, which means SQQQ goes up when NQ goes down, or QQQ goes down. So what I've been doing, though, is buying puts on SQQQ because SQQQ goes down when QQQ or Nasdaq goes up. So why doing that instead of buying something like calls on QQQ or calls on TQQQ? Well, funny thing happens when things drop really quickly is that the IV ramps up and the puts get bought. So the naive condition in the market is put buying and call selling. So when things drop really fast, people buy more puts. And you know what? If you own puts and things are dropping quickly and people are buying more puts, you know what happens to your puts? Supply and demand. Puts go up. So, yeah, that's a smart idea too, Patrick. Sledge, that makes sense because playing on both sides, you can play it both ways. I mean, you can play calls on TQQ. Just the naive condition in the market, though, is people do covered calls. They sell their calls. I mean, that's just, and then they protect their shares with puts. That's just the nature of what these instruments are used for in the majority of cases. So I'm just kind of playing with the general market use of these things. So that's why long SQQQ, just hoping to get a little extra off of the excitement that can potentially happen if this thing pops quickly on NQ. So S&P is less clear. It's made this muddy pattern, and we've kind of been stuck here for after we came up off this low from March 13th, we've just kind of been stuck here for, gosh, all of April, just chugging sideways. It's like something like 33 days. This is a 3-day chart. I mean, if we come up, 3-day right up here in the upper left. So these are 3-day candles. And look at that, like 12 in a row, just chopping. I mean, it's a big range too. It's not like a little tiny range. It's a relatively big range, but we just keep chopping. And I do expect we're going to break out. Like I drew these white arrows over here back in January. This right here, this low was October. This test right here was in December, where we came up, tested the line, bounced down. I drew these arrows shortly after that in January that I thought we'd rally up here, we'd retrace, we went a little deeper than I thought, and then we bounce. Well, we've got the bounce, but we're not continuing. We're not getting the continuation yet. But that's what I expect. Continuation higher. Probably going to come up here and test 45 eventually, but we have this 4,300 to contend with that comes from the August high. Very similar to Nasdaq. So if we actually pop over and look at some charts, and looking at this chart, you can see very clearly this August high right here, bringing it right across. That's what we have, this big oval circle target zone right here. And let me get that off the chat so I can actually see. I expect we're going to pop up there. We're either going to pull back, retest 44,000, 4,000, 4,000, or we're going to pop right up here to 4,300 before we get. I expect a pullback. If I've said this for several weeks now, if for some reason we just pop right on through, we cruise right on through, and get up to about this 4,500 level, that's a big red flag for me. If we don't slow down at this prior high, if we make it all the way up into 45, 4,600 before we find resistance, huge red flag. We can roll over from that level and go right back down and make a lower low than October. Now, we have a few threats out there sitting on the radar right now. We have the debt ceiling debate. Are they going to cave? Are they going to make a deal? Are they going to play let's make a deal? We only have a couple days left that Congress can get this done before the summer break. I don't know. There's the potential. The way California had their tax delay, whatever. We're coming in light this year on tax revenue. It's lighter than was expected, and that can lead to an early June default, technical default. Then we get some June deposits from the quarterly deposits that have to be made. That gives us a little more cushion, and then toward the end of June into July, we can get the real default, the hard default. That's kind of on the radar. So that back in 2011 caused a large drop in the market when we got to that default stage, and we lose our credit rating. So like lots of things can happen here. Banks can blow up. Now, we're not done shaking that out yet. The default thing, the dollar can rapidly lose interest in the worldwide reserve currency kind of status. That's probably going to be a longer term drama type of situation. We've got Russia and Ukraine. We've got China and Taiwan. All these things can come to a head, and maybe Russia and China kind of sitting out there waiting until we're busy screwing around with a default or something like that, and then they make a move when we can't, when we're frozen because of money. It could happen. So just keep it in mind that this, if we popped right up here, that all could come together and we see a big down and we go lower than we had back here in October, lower than 3,500. I think is where the actual spike came down to. This is just based on the closes. We could see that lower low, and I drew it on the chart all the way back here. We could actually come and hit that 3,300, possibly even down to 3,000. So that's all possible and sitting out there as a threat right now. All right. Whew. That was a mouthful. All right. Popping back over. There's the Morning Monster list. If you didn't know, I do a morning show called the Morning Monster. I drink a Monster energy drink every morning instead of coffee, and we talk about the market, what's moving. So come join us. Check it out. Had a banger today for a sledge. you were saying you caught a nice big fat win on Celsius Holdings. We've been talking about it a few days, and today it was moving like crazy. All right, touching on some of the other futures here. ES, like I said, just kind of chugging. We tried to go up, more sideways. Just come on, let's break out of this sideways bullcrap. All right, let's just do it. NQ chugging higher. This is beautiful. Probably going to push up to that zone. This is why I'm all over NQ and not talking about all the positions I'm loading up on ES, because I'm not loading up on ES because it's just not bullish looking. It's a bunch of sideways crap. NQ, that's the one that's going to outperform here. I mean, it sure is set up. So Russell, this is small caps consolidating at the lows. You know, ES consolidating at the highs, roughly. Well, the highs where it made highs in January, February, highs where it's made highs in April into May, consolidating at the highs, Russell consolidating at the lows. So this is not good for small caps. It has the opportunity to break out of here, but so far, just not doing it. Just more sideways consolidation. The longer it stays down here, the more likely it is to make an extension down here to about 1670. And you're like, JT, what are the ETFs for these? So ES is SPY, NQ, QQQ, and Russell right here, RTY. That would be the IWM. That's the ETFs. All right, if you're unfamiliar. Oil right here, like I said, the inventory is coming in positive when we're expecting a draw and pulling back. I still think this sucker is set up to go lower. I don't think this spike down reversal thing here, I'm not sure that was a spike down reversal. We got this is a typical reversal pattern, but I think it was a fake out. Potentially we're going to go down here and make a lower low. Just be very careful on oil right now. I wouldn't go long. And we can easily retrace right back down to the 67 area. That's where support is right now. Right down here, draw an oval. Right back down here at this line, right in the zone. Watch for it to retrace. If we find support here and turn up, that's bullish. If we come down here, don't slow down, we just keep on going, that's bearish for an extension lower. So, yeah, well, I mean, you can say, you know, the small caps being down is all on the banks. It's all on regional banks. Like, that's why, I mean, that's why they're bleeding out. It's not about corporate welfare or anything. It's about, it's down on the banks. I mean, it just is. They tend to outperform when things are awesome and not so much when things aren't awesome. They tend to lead down and lead up. So this is kind of a canary in the coal mine, maybe, that we could roll over. It's yet another warning sign hanging out here. Yet another one that I talk about often is the fact that the interest rates right here, the real market rate in blue, the DGS2, has crossed over for the Fed funds rate. These things, when they cross, we typically get 3 to 5 months, 120 to 150 days, roughly, and then we get a financial crisis. It happened back here, it happened on back here, and it happened back here. That's 2000, 2007, and then 2018, and then now we've crossed. The question is, do they kind of fly parallel and then go higher? Or do we get that crisis? Do we go up first, or do we just get a crisis? That's the question. Certainly have the setup for the crisis with the debt ceiling coming up. All right. Back to gasolina. Well, that's crude in Europe. Gasolina right here has potential to go lower. And we broke the trend line and come up, retest the roadmap line, and go for an extension lower. Not too bad looking on gasoline right now. Natural gas also looking like it's going to extend lower. Probably $1.50, maybe down to $1. GC, just consolidating here and update my lines, update my arrow. We made a higher high back there on last Thursday. So I had to move everything over, and now, let's see, delete that. There we go. So we basically touched the 1618, found resistance, got a pullback. Now the thing I would expect to happen is a pullback to the roadmap line. This blue line right here is just a copy of this blue line right over here. And we can see it right back down to the roadmap line, just like we did in January, February. It's the chart on the pattern. I mean, it's the pattern on the chart. Chart on the pattern. So, 3 to 5 months. So we crossed about a month ago. So we have like 2 to 4 months kind of left in the countdown here. So I've kind of laid out a variety of things. If we see S&P 500 bust right on up, truck right on up to this 4,500, we could get the crisis. If it stops at 4,300 and retraces, that's kind of like the signal that we may get the interest rates flying sideways, parallel in formation. Then we may, shake it off, get the all clear, premature. Everybody thinks everything's okay. We start raising rates more, and then we get another cross later on, maybe into 2025. We may be able to skate through 2024. Maybe 2025. We get another cross, and then the big problems happen. So we'll see. Keep hanging around. We'll keep talking about it. We'll keep updating it. Copper, also not looking very strong right now. This looks like it wants to extend down to 370. That would take FCX with it. All right, lumber also not looking so hot. Looks like it may want to extend. My southern accent coming out. So we have the possibility to extend down here to around 250. We're about 350 now. So lumber could get cheaper. Housing futures, I have to put that on a weekly chart because you can't see the daily chart. Housing futures popping back up. Probably going to find resistance up here at 316 before it rolls on down. I do think that this is a pattern set up for a small intermediate bounce and then a rollover. And that's another thing that's got me cautious right there. If we start breaking out above 323, then it's likely we extend up to 343. But right now this is looking more like we're going to roll on over on housing futures. If you didn't know housing futures were a thing, there you go. And I got some other things like wheat and corn and sugar and lean cattle and pork and soybeans and anything else I want to talk about. You can make a request. We'll hit on Bitcoin really quick because I know somebody wants to know about Bitcoin and the keyboard is being retarded. Not supposed to say that word, sorry. Put it back on the daily chart. Yeah, so Bitcoin got a little freak out. There was a Twitter rumor today that the U.S. was going to dump all their Bitcoin and cause a little $1,500 drop off the highs down to the lows, and then we just kind of closed flat. Or I don't think it's actually closed, but yeah, futures are closed for an hour anyway. Futures kind of closed flat. I'm still kind of expecting this pop. Maybe a small pop, maybe a big pop. Still expecting a pop. Pop maybe up to about 3,200. That's the high. The most likely thing is we find resistance right about 3,200, and then we get a bigger pullback to the roadmap line. That's kind of what I see right now. All right, I know there are a ton of tickers in here, so let's hit a few. Wire. That is an interesting one right there. We have a resistance zone built up right here. I don't see a high probability thing right now. We could pop up here, retest it, and roll down. This could be the low. It may not be a low. It may need a higher. It may get a pullback and a higher low. Lots of potential right now. But we do have resistance above, and some that is high, holding a higher low there. So it is a somewhat bullish pattern, but it's not got any kind of confirmation so far. PEP. That's getting extensions. The next one up there at 199. And it would be very classic to see this roll right back down before it did that pop. That would be a very classic kind of move. Come on, Pepsi doesn't come in classic. That's Coke. Anyway, and Coke getting the pullback right there. So lots of crazy arrows on Coke. It broke up above. It has a head and shoulders, is why that crazy stuff's on there. It broke up above, but it's not getting continuation, just sitting on the neckline, drifting back lower. That's not bullish. Cautious, cautious, cautious. And we didn't do an echo that move. Not sure what Coke's going to do here. All right. AMD has been super strong. And I'm looking. It has not wrecked my expectation that we are going to the target up here around 110, possibly 107 at the low end, possibly 115 on the upper end. Upper end. Right now, that's pretty bullish looking. Although it can do a little retrace before it. It is obviously running a little bit out of energy. May need a retrace before it can get the next big power move up. But it did. 3 powerful days. You see what a pullback gets you. 3 powerful days. Stall kind of inching higher for 2 days. May need a pullback before it can go on up. All right. BTC. And nothing really changed there. Looks like still got resistance at the same place. Haven't been able to break through yet. Not super interesting until it gets out of this funk. Like, it's got resistance right up there. Same resistance. Same thing. You can get out to 96 or 101 if it can break out. And then let's see. Google. Nice. Nice. That was a beautiful move on Google. Probably heading up to this area. I drew the arrows. Breaking above here. Probably take us right up to that prior high. Right up there around 123. It's another $12-ish up. $10, $12 up. Looks pretty sweet. Nothing. I mean, we'll probably get a retrace in there, but it's probably heading up there. I mean, it can do it. Like, it went from this level up to that level pretty quickly before. Let's see. Where is the tool that I'm looking for? There it is. Took it about 20 days. Yeah, that would put it way above 20, 21 days. So next can get up there in 3 weeks. If it just did that move it did before. It did have a little pullback in there a couple times, so it can do it from this level. I mean, that was all right. And LNT, get my fingers on the right keys. LNTH, yep, stalling at the 1272, may retrace, and may extend. Like, classic would be to do this first and then that. But it can hang out here for a couple days, a couple weeks, whatever, and then pop up to that next level. So it's either going to consolidate and pop or pull back and pop. And there's the off chance that that was the end of the move and we pull back to the roadmap line. I mean, that's likely to. It's kind of like the 3 paths. Consolidate, pop, pull back, pop, or pull all the way back to the roadmap line and retest it. All right. Netflix still looks pretty bullish. Just not quite breaking out. Move above 350. Gets me really interested in this move up to 500 up here. Keep saving these. ON. I said ON. I said, I'll put new batteries in this thing. Come on. Work with me. Yeah, right at the resistance. Got to break above the resistance to get the extension out to 91. Just not doing it yet. And ONTO. Oh, that was cool. Yeah, stuck at resistance. Break out above that, can go higher. So far, just chopping. And based on all this chop, I expect more chop and sideways in the 80 to 90 range. And Amazon, I heard that had a crazy big close. I was out. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Right up to the resistance. Got this resistance, this prior high, up to about 115. We're kind of like right there. We've topped out a couple times. If we can pop up through that, super bullish. Above 115, probably going to get up to this high right up here at 145. Go retest that. Potentially break out, get the extension. Do have a little bit of potential resistance at 130 due to the fib lines, but looking pretty good for popping and breaking out into the summer. I'm holding some calls in June and July. Looking for that pop. All right. Q. We looked at NQ. QQQ is the same. Just divide by 41. Same prices. So, what is the high? Right there. Probably going to go test that high around 335. Right there. All right, David. What happens after that? Probably a retrace. We can do that. It could be like this, could be like that. Could be a big scary one. Could be we pop into that debt ceiling problem. We'll see. I do think we're going to pop probably in the next couple weeks. Maybe this week. I don't know. We're going to go up and test that, retest that high. That was the whole thing I drew on NQ in the beginning. That's that whole situation right there. Probably going to pop. It's the most clear pattern we have right now that I found in the market. It's really beautiful. Got me all excited. All right, HLMN. Sorry I'm behind, everybody. I had a nice big stack in the beginning. That one is stuck under the roadmap line. Would not surprise me to make an extension down. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. And back down to $7 area. Not great. Let's see. Celsius. What is a beautiful chart? Beautiful chart. Beautiful trade. We talked about it for a couple weeks. Popped right up to the resistance there at 129. Tried to poke through. Ended up closing the day right below. So same situation. You know, now that I can remove the arrows potentially, if it'll let me. So we got the pop right up to resistance. You know, it basically gave you 2 days to get in above the conservative entry type thing, and then popped right up to the target all in one go. You know, I had the aggressive entry down here, and that gave you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 or 7 days there, and then popped. Got the first target. Now what next, JT? We either retrace like this, and then pop up here, or we go sideways for a few days and then pop, or you notice it's like the same pattern over and over, or we could just retrace bigger all the way back down where we came from. So there you go. There's Celsius. I wouldn't chase. I'm not chasing this last little bit. I didn't get in a trade on Celsius. I should have. I mean, I called it out, but I didn't do it. All right. Plug. P-L-U-G. Is that a plug for plug? Why does it keep missing the first letter? It's weird. Well, it doesn't have a lot to go down. I mean, that kind of... That's where it consolidated right there. Breakdown off the head and shoulders. It's at the 1618 right there. From that move up, I don't know. It could go lower, down to 2, but it doesn't have to. It can find support right in this $7.30 area. Turn back around. Watch for it to break up through this, where it did that consolidation right there before it pushed lower. All right. MIM-SFT. Microsoft. Oh, nice. It got the S out of all the letters. What the heck? This is not like a crap keyboard. I mean, this is a Logitech, whatever, MX50 or whatever. Case 370. I don't know. I guess this is the MX. Yeah, this is the MX, whatever. It's not a crap keyboard. I don't know. They both use the same transmitter. Like, the mouse works fine. Weird. Anyway, has nothing to do with it's the communication. 'Cause as soon as I pick it up off the desk, it works. Like, it's just a wireless thing. I don't know. Wherever the transmitter is, it's probably on the far side, and the computer's over there under the desk. Beats me. Microsoft sitting at resistance. A big heavy black line I drew right there. Stopped right at it. It's the prior highs from here and here, from February and April of last year. Break above that, we can get a quick ascent right back up to the highs of around 350. But we may do like we did right down here and retrace before we get the pop. So be careful. Yeah, Microsoft's got the barrier. If we can break above, that's like a big move up. Nice potential. And then 360 if we can get out of that 350 area. Super nice looking. Apple. Now we're going to do it again, huh? Do it again. Do it again. Apple looks really nice. What is that? I must have left one of those little doodads on there. Little labels with the bars. Apple got that resistance right there above us. We break that high from last August. 199 is the target. And we do have kind of a layer at 180, a layer at 183. You know, these prior highs, that's a lower high, 3 in a row. This one's lower still. We need to break above, and break above. And then 199 is the target. I think it'll break hearts. Like, everybody will be gunning for 200. We may come up short and retrace all the way back down to 183. It'll be a little funny if that's the way it works. If we come up just shy of 200, then retrace all the way back to 183, people are like, oh my gosh. And you heard JT say it all these months before it happens. It'll be funny. Funny to me. I mean, people losing money on trades, and like, that's not so funny, but anyway. That's why we're here. Right? Yeah, 199.99. That'll be it, Goose. Like, we'll hit 199.99. It won't trigger the trades at 200, and it'll retrace all the way back down. Hey, Penny, thanks for being a VIP subscriber. Thank you, thank you. I sent you a private message. KLAC. Just stuck on the roadmap line right there. Yeah, bookmark the time after this video's done, like what I said, and we can come back to it. So we came up to resistance and turned down. And that really needs to get back above 404 to get extensions out to like 448. So watch for this to continue to hold resistance. We get above that, can be go time. Set your alert right up here. 403, 404. All right, what else do we want to look at? SQ keeps messing around, not being awesome. Seriously, what was that? Q, I said SQ. Oh, I hit backspace instead of enter. Look at that. That was the Hindenburg report. That was, what's his name, saying everything was cool. Jack Dorsey, I guess block, not square, but, and then right back down to lows from the Hindenburg report and just kind of sitting there like a dumb chart. I am long some square and it's not looking so awesome. Apparently, my synthetic got executed. Now I have 100 shares on top of my long put and long call. So I had to liquidate some stuff today because it wouldn't let me close it because I didn't have enough liquidity in the account, and it was freaking stupid. So yeah, big fan of square or block right now. Love that. PayPal is also a dangerous chart. Broke lower. Look at that, Sledge. Hopefully you're still short those put, or you still have those puts. Thing's gonna go. I've been calling for this for months. Gosh, since all the way back here in June. Been looking for this. I've been looking for this. It held support and held support. It broke. Game on. It's probably going down to that 45 area. So there we go. Yeah. I mean, I use PayPal like all the time. So that's the source of Elon's first money right there. PayPal, when he sold out to eBay. But apparently not doing so hot these days. At least not with that breakdown. Maybe go find support at 45. We'll see what happens. All right. Anything else? Anybody? It's been 40 minutes of awesome so far. Oh, I see that. Riot and Mora. They weren't capitalized. I saw that. Riots. Rolling through. Looks like we're on the path. You know, the best looking one right now, before I talk about Mora, BT. Got a little retrace today. But for the first time in, I think it's 4 years, maybe 5 years, the fees for Bitcoin are higher than the block rewards. So we're seeing a lot of transactions on Bitcoin. Yeah, BTBT was bouncing off the 250 right there, popped up and retraced. Quick retrace, right back down. Potential extension up to 293. May get a bigger retrace. Riots has the target right up here. This is not a very good, I don't have it drawn very well on this chart. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. No, it's not in log mode. There we go. Helps when you got it in the right mode. Now it'll probably work. Yep, right there. Looking for that final little push, right? We came up close, but 15 is resistance, and then up to 20. And, you know, most ideally, we'll probably hit right around 17. Fairly bullish. And then Mara, short seller's paradise right here. This one probably going to pop to about 15 also, and has the extension play up to this 21 to 31 area. Nothing broken so far, just farting around on the rub-off line. Not breaking out. If Bitcoin can get its act together and start moving up to that 32,000 area, we're probably going to see Mara and Riot go. Hut is in a merger situation and probably not going anywhere. In fact, that's got a head and shoulders for going lower, so be freaking careful if you're on Hut. I swapped out a Hut into BTBT, and you can see BTBT bullish, Hut not. So, all right. See if I see anything else in here. Remember, I'll be long. I'll be long. Yeah, I'll be long in the morning. No, I'll be on in the morning. A morning monster, talking about the PPI numbers. Golly, I keep tongue tying myself. I think I hadn't had great sleep or rest or been in a stressful situation for the last couple days or something, would you? Whew. All right. Win results. Consolidating right there at the resistance. Probably going to get a pullback. That just looks like it's waiting to do that. Popped up. That's that consolidation thing I was talking about. When you consolidate, then you can make an extension. The extension is not going to be huge because the range isn't huge, but maybe 120, 125. Otherwise, retrace the roadmap line and get a nice bigger pullback to clear the runway for more expansion. All right. So that pretty much wraps it up. We hit all the fangs. Did we do Netflix? I thought we did Netflix. We didn't do Meta. And Netflix, yeah, we did that one. Meta's beautiful right here. This potential entry right here for that pop up to 320. This is not going to go fast. This is probably out to June, maybe August. Just going to chug right on this path. And keep on chugging on that path. Yeah, take us out to August, July, August. Could do another pullback, extend it just a little longer, maybe late August. So 320 is what I'm expecting on Meta. All right. Big tech is strong. NQ strong. That's where kind of got my focus right now. Pay attention to the strong stuff. The stuff that's just chopping around and hard to tell. Just forget about it. Don't try to put your square peg in the round hole. All right, we're trying to find a bullish trade. Quit trying to look at bearish charts. Goose has done really well after he quit trying to catch falling knives. Quit trying to guess the bottom. Quit trying to buy into choppy crap. It helps a lot. Thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for joining me on this Wednesday evening. And I'll see you in the morning. Come join me. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the bell with the notifications so you get notified when I go live. Usually about 9:10 before the market opens. And yeah, truth. I'm sorry. Sorry to call you out, Goose. But we were talking about it earlier today, though. So yeah, I know. Amen. And yeah, thanks for coming, everybody. And we'll see you in the morning. And yeah. If you want to jump in Discord, links in the description. And we can talk about this all night. So, bye for now. Thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for all the support and the love.